Have you ever said to yourself, man, real estate agents suck? I have. And in fact, that's a big reason why I got into real estate. And if you're thinking about buying your next house unrepresented, I'm not going to stand in your way. Like I said, that was a big reason why I got into real estate. And I really felt like I could do it better. Before you make up your mind, though, here are 3 things to consider before you choose to go unrepresented into the next home you try to purchase. Here are 3 things to consider before you decide whether or not to use a buyer's agent. First thing is the commission. You typically don't pay any commission to a buyer's agent. Typically, the seller pays all that. Now, I know what you're thinking, that you might be able to save money if you go directly to the seller and ask for a reduction of purchase price in lieu of the commission, because you're pretty much being your own agent, right? So rather than offering $400,000, you're going to offer $390,000. A little bit of money will go back to the seller, and their net will be a little higher, and you'll still get the house. And that's how you might think that you have some kind of an advantage in writing your offer. That's not always the case. In fact, in Utah, a lot of times the commission agreements between the seller's agent and the seller are agreed to way in advance and aren't going to fluctuate depending on the offer that gets presented, whether or not you're represented. So you may not have the advantages of being represented and all of the liability of that, and you might not have saved any money either, or saved the seller any money either, because the commission agreement has already been agreed to way in advance. The next thing is having somebody in your corner. It's great to have somebody who's an extra set of eyes out there, somebody who can negotiate on your behalf and be bad cop when they need to, hopefully look at things unemotionally and do whatever they can to get you the house. The last thing is, some agents have better market knowledge than you might have, right? I have had rapport with agents that I've done repeat business with, where I can go back and say, hey, Tom, it's nice to, I've got a client, let's look at this house. And we already know each other from other companies. And maybe we even know specific things about the property because we've shown it before, or already inquired about different details, or have just market knowledge that you as the consumer may not have, that could be really impactful in doing negotiations or writing offers. Now, to further illustrate my point, I've got a story from my own experience that happened recently. Here's my story from a client that I worked with a while ago. We went and looked at a house together, and after we looked at the house, they said, oh, hey, this house was great. We definitely want to write an offer, but we want to work directly with the seller's agent. Naturally, I was a little bummed because I was hoping to represent them as the buyer's agent. And I said, okay, well, this is the situation, and why, can I ask why don't you want to use a buyer's agent? They said, well, we just finished selling our home for sale by owner. It went really well. We feel super confident about the process. There's no reason that we can't add value to the seller by going to them directly. And I said, oh, okay, great. I understand that. You want to position yourself to win this offer in whatever way you can. And how is it that you're going to add value to the seller? And they said, well, we are going to offer above asking price by, I think they said like $15,000. And we're going to, and because we're not using an agent, they'll get to keep that money as well. And I said, that does sound like a good plan. However, there's a chance that the commission agreement is already in place, and that the seller's agent, who's already set the commission amount, isn't willing to give that money back to the seller. And if that's the case, and maybe even the seller's agent might feel like they're going to do more work by working with you, and that they're entitled to the other half of the commission even more. And so you might actually not save you or the seller any money, and you still have the disadvantage of being unrepresented and not having anybody in your court. And they said, okay, well, yeah, but we still want to offer over asking price. And that's when I remembered that I had information that they didn't have. And so I shared with them that I had already spoken with this agent. I knew that the home had already been listed on the market for like a month, and that they didn't have any other offers on the table, and that the sellers were anxious because they already had a house built and that they needed to pay for. So all of that in mind, I shared that with them and said, I think that you probably are in a better position to even offer less than asking price and save yourself some money. So I said, you guys seem great and totally capable. And if you need anything, let me know. And we kind of parted ways. And I'm driving home thinking, well, I'll probably never hear from them again. And they'll probably go and, get that house. Well, they called me the next morning and said, hey, we want you to represent us. We feel like, you know a lot about the property and you'd be able to help. So write an offer, we get it accepted and everybody's happy. It closes on time. The reason that I tell this story is because I had information that they didn't have, and that can be super valuable in this negotiation process. I had rapport with the agent, I knew the market and really what we could afford to offer and still win. So if you've got other questions about this, feel free to reach out. I'd love to talk through it more, and I hope to talk to you soon.